Hi guys, Paul.
Josh.
And Mike.
ManiacsMeat podcast. A unhappy St. Patty's Day to everybody. I don't support it because fuck Catholics. And fuck you too. Pagan pride forever. But we're gonna do Leprechaun from 1993 and probably dabble into 94, 95, 97, 2001, the bullshit too. So there you go. Boom. Just into it right now. So for me anyway, it was one of those ones where I didn't see it in the theaters, but as soon as it came out on the VHSs, my mom bought it.
Yep.
And I watched it at home. So
yep.
I'm a big fan of the film. I mean, I'll take it to you, Josh.
Definitely a major staple for me growing up. I think it was what we all watched at slumber parties when we were growing up. Definitely a movie that was rented a lot and watched on the Sci-Fi Channel a lot when you got to stay home from school.
Oh yeah, it used to play on the Sci-Fi Channel quite a bit too. Yeah.
So for me, I mean, it's definitely it hits home. I love the movie. I love Warwick Davis' performance, and for the first film, I think it's funny, it's campy, delivers a lot, and it's surprisingly, when you think about it, really spooky if you're a kid watching it.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. I mean, I remember by the time I was renting 2 through 17, because there's 7 films of it now. The other ones that I rented all the way up to the Hood, I was driving myself to the thing back then. Yeah. I was renting those films, and we were watching them in the trailer. You know what I mean?
It is definitely one of the franchises that our generation grew up with from the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
Right from the get go, because we're all children of the '80s and everything, and by the time we were old enough to even watch horror movies, they're already up to this many Nightmare on Elm Street, this many Friday the 13th, Halloween's been around. This was one of the ones that came out when we were about the age where you could really just go get it as soon as it came out.
The sequels are like the mushrooms that grow on the sturdy tree and then eat the tree from inside and kill it, so it ruins the original basically. And I hate sequels. And definitely, I mean, after this when Wishmaster came out, I always think we just rewatched the first one. It always reminds me of Wishmaster, how the first one was actually pretty dead serious, and the second one started getting campy and doing similar things. I always look at Leprechaun as kind of like Evil Dead. Evil Dead 1, serious horror movie. Evil Dead 2, obviously black comedy, and they went nuts from there. I think that's what this is. A lot of people don't like this film, and I like it quite a bit. I don't have a problem with Leprechaun. I like the folklore aspect of it. I think it's as straightforward as it can be, but can't be enough to make it approachable for our ages, because this was supposed to be a kid's film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and like we were talking about when we rewatched it, because I know it had been a while since I think the same with you guys, but this movie's really no more campy than classics like Killer Clown, like we talked about.
No, that's very campy.
It's there's just as many silly tropes and silly things going on.
Yes, but there are 90s nostalgic tropes, but some parts of the film that I feel are like echoing the 80s still. Has that same vibe. Some of in the first 3 or 4 years of the 90s, you'll get these gems that still harken back a little bit, feel 80s-ish. But after that, then you, like for instance, the look and the feel of Leprechaun 2 is automatically that cheesy, shitty 90s, nobody knows how to make horror films.
Yeah, and honestly, outside of the first Leprechaun, all the ones that came afterwards, I vaguely recall. I couldn't tell you what scenes are from which movies, except
in
Leprechaun in Space.
In Leprechaun in Space, he comes out of the guy's dick when he's peeing.
That was awesome.
Jesus Christ.
That was fucking cool.
I like Leprechaun, the first Leprechaun. Leprechaun 2's got some good spots. I mean, I think Warwick Davis does a great job in every time he's in one of these. Absolutely. I got a chance to meet him, let him know he freaked me out when I was a kid. Nice stuff like that. The costume is always great.
Oh, absolutely.
But
I like the costume. I like the makeup on his. I like the actual makeup for his face.
He's creepy.
It's legitimately.
Teeth are all black. And
yes,
shit,
well done.
Yeah.
And the gore is actually fairly well done.
I mean, this is a classic thing. You have a folklore legend hidden in a house. No one's aware. No one knows how to help it. Isolated teens in a farmhouse. No one believes you. Dad gets hospitalized. No help.
Yeah, it hits every major point. Like law enforcement's not there. Can't help.
The law enforcement that does show up gets killed. Yeah, but then he uses magical powers to do a lot of other stuff.
And then you need to find the supernatural means to stop said monster.
Exactly.
Like, it kind of like does follow up.
There's so many times where like they make fun of him, like why is he, how's he doing this so fast? How is he doing that so fast? He's a mythological creature. Why would if you are wondering how can he like make a go-kart go 1,000,000 miles an hour or flip a truck, then why are you wondering why a 4-leaf clover can kill him?
How can he teleport? Like, how can he do anything?
How can he do any
how
of
can
this
he get
stuff?
shot?
You know?
He gets shot like 5 times by a
He
shotgun.
Gets 12 rounds in him and he doesn't even lose a
Well,
button.
that's believable, but the go-kart thing, like,
Exactly,
I can't,
yeah.
like, come on.
Yeah, he gets shot that many times and doesn't even lose a button on his vest.
The fact no one loaded that shotgun the entire time.
Yeah, that's the most unbelievable thing in the movie.
I think that's a major trope for a lot of us. The guns that never really need reloaded.
Yeah.
Like in Face Off, man, that big Face Off, they had that big shootout. It's all the handguns.
Almost every Evil Dead movie is like that too. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
To be fair, I always go back to this with the Evil Dead stuff. Usually, if you listen close enough, you can hear the sound of like a shotgun.
A kick.
Yeah,
you'll hear it.
You can hear it from time to time, especially in Army of Darkness, which is enough for me to be like,
all right,
okay.
Just because it's not on camera doesn't mean it's
I didn't see it, but I heard it.
Like we're trying to like give it a little bit of continuity.
Going back to the Evil Dead with Leprechaun too, and I think older. I fucking hate modern horror fans. Most of you people can fucking die. I mean, honestly, I just want you to fucking die in a fire with your family. You pieces of shit.
Wow.
Like, I just cannot stand modern horror fans. They fucking get me like, oh, who's so excited about the new Texas Chainsaw? Just kill yourself.
By the way, that shit sucked.
Yeah, of course it's gonna suck.
The thing that like drives me crazy is like, I mean, I try to hold, all horror films like, all right, there's a place for them, but the thing that really drives me crazy with, I guess, the more modern horror fans is they push it so hard, like it's so amazing when these movies just pale in comparison to the predecessors.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
Yep.
Like even newer versions in the franchise, like the later films in the franchises are just ranked. Even, and I can't even believe I'm about to say this, but even the newest Scream movie, Scream 5 just came out, like a month ago? Yeah. I saw it, and I was like, this is shittier than the other, like the 3 later ones. And I have like a weird thing with the Scream movies.
I guess we need to do Scream movies next, too, because I hate them.
Like, I don't know, when I really went through the rewatches of them pretty hard, because I was like, all right, Scream 5's coming out, I'm going to get geared up to do this again. And I started watching them, and there were nuggets of enjoyment in them when you take Scream for what it is. But I would never preach Scream to anybody like it was this. My problem with
Scream, and I know we're talking about Leprechaun, Scream to me is a joke. It's a joke, but they're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you because he hated the horror genre, and he's making fun of people that like it in Scream. That's how I get Scream, and he can go fucking... I'm glad he's dead, by the way, but he could have died fucking back in the 80s, because I hate the son of a bitch. But I just do not like Scream, and it's that trope thing where after that, everybody makes those funny horror movies where it's parroting everything, and it's not because you're serious horror fans having a good time. I think Tucker and Dale vs. Evil was masterfully written. That is the same thing, but it's not the same thing when it comes to a lot of these.
I enjoyed Cabin in the Woods quite a lot too.
Yeah,
quite a lot. It was good.
No, it
was enjoyable.
That's good. I mean, Sigourney Weaver, what an ugly bitch. But I don't know. Leprechaun for me, like, it reminds me a lot of the Evil Dead. You have the first one that's poorly made, but seriously straight up. You have the second one that's better as far as production-wise and clarity-wise, but it's a black comedy. They realize they're not taking themselves seriously there. And then after that, you get Army of Darkness goes fucking apeshit.
Yeah, but Leprechaun 3 is nowhere near comparison, or nowhere near...
Army of Darkness, I think Leprechaun falls into that same genre, where they get up to the Evil Dead 2 level, and they try to continue the Evil Dead 2 level, but the quality just goes near because they're not trying at all.
But it's funny. It's funny though too, because if you go back to some of the staple horror franchises, like my personal favorite, Nightmare on Elm Street, is 4 or 3, Dream Master, or Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors.
But that was 3.
Right.
But I mean, even if you go through like.
Well, my favorite Hellraiser is Part 3.
Part 3.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, like. As those went on, those did the first couple of those did not get like cheesier as far as like more comedy oriented. I only think
It got more outlandish.
it got a little more outlandish.
Well, the thing is, the
regards,
nice thing
but,
about the Evil Dead, we're doing a fucking whole bunch of things.
we're going all over
The
the
Friday
place.
the
It's been a while
13th was
since we've
nice.
done
The
one.
nice thing about the Friday the 13th was, is if you really look at it is a dude, it is a dude, is it a dude, it's a fake dude, and then it's a zombie. Then it's a zombie. And you can't, like this,
Yeah.
once 6 happens, it's a zombie.
Yeah.
You know what I
well, I mean, are you 5?
5's a faker.
Yeah, 5's the ambulance driver.
There's a
Well,
copycat.
yeah, but wait, well,
yeah.
He was a copycat.
Corey
killer.
Feldman was.
In
Corey
part 4,
Feldman was 4. Wasn't
Corey was in 4, and he was in
is
6. Then
4 is
he was only in the
was it 4 final chapter or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's
And
where
then-
he kills Jason,
Yeah,
and then he gets
5 is when
reincarnated.
he gets reincarnated.
6.
6.
6 is getting reincarnated.
Yes,
The new,
Jesus
and then
Christ.
the new blood is 7, my favorite actually.
Yeah.
But like I
Thanks,
like the fact
Manhattan.
that I really do like the fact that it makes it very, very distinct. He is actually dead now.
Yeah.
He is a faker, and then he's a zombie. And then once he goes zombie Jason, all the fucking straps go off. You know what I mean? Like, you do whatever you want to because he's not stopping.
Yeah.
And that was nice. I like that. Unlike, that's why I hate these sequels of Halloween. 1, because they weren't supposed to be there in the first place. 2, they kept doing them after Donald Pleasance was dead, which
was rough.
which was, I think, disrespectful. And the other thing, he's just a dude still.
Yeah.
You shoot him in the face with a shotgun, he's dead. I mean, he's just a dude. I mean, you can only pull that. He's superhuman. No, he doesn't feel pain for so long, dude. Like, come on. I don't know. I really dislike these Halloween fanboys that just like, oh, Halloween kills, Halloween ends, Halloween this. I mean, Halloween for me died in 1981.
Yeah, maybe right.
You know what I mean?
Halloween.
I go up to the 3rd one, and that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 3rd's great,
I
and
like
I
the third
hate
one.
people that spit on the 3rd.
Oh, I hate it.
Because it's not supposed to be a Michael Myers film.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But-
Well, that was the whole premise of the Halloween franchises. My
It's supposed to be
understanding
different
was
every
each
time.
Halloween movie was supposed to be a totally different character, a totally different story.
Right.
But the first one dropped, and everybody enjoyed it so much and wanted to know what the follow up was that they made the direct sequel
Right.
for it.
Exactly.
And then they're like, all right, now we're gonna go with our idea. And then when the third one dropped, and everybody
And they got pissed off because it wasn't Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That's why they started on the 4th one to make money, because it was all about capitalistic bullshit and not really quality of what you're doing. Like Metallica, fuck you. And so you go back to Leprechaun, and I really do like it because there are tropes where you can kind of see other films affecting it. Like the one time we were talking, you guys are going like, I can't remember exactly what you said, Clockwork Orange or something like that, with the fucking weird camera angles.
Oh, no, I was saying about Batman.
Batman,
60s
Batman TV
Batman.
show. And I said, well, maybe it's Sam Raimi. They're trying to
Yeah.
play off the Sam Raimi stuff.
I definitely think there was some influence from Raimi.
Did you notice that, like, it was too, because the hand came off and the hand came back? Very Evil Dead 2. He put his hand on the thing and he used the spatula to pry his hand off. Very Evil Dead 2. But the thing is, that's the level, the black comedy, because, again, this was supposed to be made for children.
Mm-hmm.
They only added some of these extra scenes and extra swear words to get to that R rating, which I guess they barely got to.
And you can tell that some of those swear words were added in just because it like they just didn't. They just seemed like they were like stuck in. Like, well,
No.
make them swear.
Yeah,
real quick,
yeah,
but-
make
but-
them
but
swear.
something.
You cornhole! But no, I mean, but the thing is, it's one of those ones where it's nostalgic as fuck. It is a good film. I think Leprechaun by itself is actually a decent horror film.
It's fine.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
totally fine.
And then people are like, the people are like ragging on it and shit like that. Like, I don't want to watch a Hostel or a Saw or anything like that. These are all shit films. Like, this is actually a good film.
I mean, Saw was like the first Saw was interesting, but like
I'm dying of cancer, so I'm bitter that everybody else is like wasting their life. Oh, cry me a river and die already.
They went from a lot of the supernatural killer stuff that we had going up through, and then at some point in the 90s, and I still blame Scream for a lot of this, they were like, let's make it the regular person that is just like a lunatic or a psychopath, which is fine every once in a while.
They did that a lot in the 80s. Like,
Yeah,
I have Home Sweet Home. Boy, that's a good fucking bad film.
But when you're going to a lot of these horror films that you're expecting the Nightmare on Elm Street, you're expecting the Friday the 13th, you're expecting the Halloween, you know. But when you get that mindset and then they just do a switch where it's now just all people that are bitter and just regular, and like my gun can stop you. My knife, if I stab you, you're done.
Look at that, you're dead.
And like those have their places. Don't get me wrong, but that's all you were getting. There's no
right. I don't know. I just think it too. Like I find Scary Movie as serious as Scream. It's just a fucking joke. It's just a joke on the thing. And I mean, obviously, it was so blatant of a joke that they took Scary Movie straight from it because they could see all the jokes that are in it. You know what I mean? Like it's just a fucking joke. But it's just one of those ones it is. But we're not talking about. We're talking about Leprechaun. God damn it! Just stay on the fucking train. Stay on the Irish train. But it was really funny. It is cool to see her red. You remember the color too. And there comes a red fucking cell phone.
Yeah,
like it's 1993.
You remembered that from way back.
Yeah, the fucking.
It's so wild. It's like cherry red too.
Cherry red in 1993.
And her watercress salad she wanted.
Well, I don't understand what the fuck she was sporting because when my mom had a cell phone for work, it came with its own bag.
That means that's how high tech that shit was. Top of the line Motorola probably.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'll tell you what, like in the film, once you get dialing, you don't automatically talk to somebody. You still have to connect and you still have to
They didn't know that. She probably never had a cell phone. That was like her first movie.
That's one of the things I always recall about Leprechaun is it's the first like Jennifer Aniston.
Yes, that was I remember that. The first and I don't that might not even be true. She might be in another horror movie like as a little kid, but like if you really look at of course we were Nathan, what we were referringly calling Kevin Bacon. So that's Kevin. It's Kevin. You have if you haven't watched Leprechaun, obviously, it's a father, an old Irishman and his wife brings his mother's ashes over with a leprechaun. Leprechaun's gold. Leprechaun comes from Ireland, finds him, kills his wife. He dies, but before that, he locks the leprechaun up with a 4-leaf clover. New owners come, daughter and father. People are trying to renovate the house, and it kind of gets a little screwy. Big Chubbs from Teen Wolf 2, Francis from Pee Wee's Playhouse, Gacy from the Gacy film 2010 or something like that, 2002, something like that. Poltergeist? Can't remember Poltergeist, but the kid from Poltergeist is in there. But he ends up moving he's a handicap, so he ends up moving that. Lets the leprechaun out, and that's when shit goes downhill. Father gets sent into the hospital for a kitten bite, and they just gotta try to fight this leprechaun, and in doing so, he causes wreaky havoc. Not a lot of kills in this film. Yeah, four kills in the film. They get a sheriff, you got the store owner, and then of course the two Irish folks in the beginning. That's it, you know. And at first, he doesn't die. You think he dies, but he just had a stroke, and then he dies later. So it was still 4. Yeah. So, yeah. And it wasn't supposed to be a bloodbath, even though they added some scenes to make them a little gorier to get that R rating later, because it was supposed to be a kids film, and a lot of people remark about the campiness and this and this. And imagine this. Imagine I brought this out. Imagine if you're watching Hocus Pocus, or Hocus Pocus was almost done finishing, you know. And Disney's like, hey, we're actually really bad, and we do horrible things to children. Go back in and kill 2 kids, take your tits out, and murder 5 guys. But keep everything else the same in the film. People are going to be like, what the fuck are we watching? This is weird. This is that. And that's exactly the problem with Leprechaun too. But honestly, because it's a leprechaun, because you're into that other dimension, because you have the suspension of disbelief, I can go through this and it livens it up a little bit. I mean, he's a one-line maniac, but he's not as bad as Alf. Yeah, no. I mean, if you grew up with Alf, you can deal with one-liners.
You know, what is it about Leprechaun, do you think, that makes people so crazy? It makes people like just want to be so willing to just rip it the hell down, because it's not a bad
form. It's actually pretty straightforward.
But there is something about Leprechaun. I guess it's easy. It's an easy target. It's the little kid in the class.
It's a little kid in the class. I mean, no pun intended for small people.
Whoa, small people
with the leprechaun.
With some schmaltz.
But no, like the wee folks, the fearsome critters. But the one-liners. It has poor writing.
I personally think it's what came after the first movie.
Oh no!
Because
honestly,
I mean, you had the first villain in any movie to go to the hood.
Yeah, and
which
space.
is and space.
He did it before Jason.
He did, and that's what I'm saying. Is like I think
Jason didn't do it until 10.
I think it became so campy and cartoony at that point. People go, "What a joke!"
Yeah,
not really taking the first film into consideration as actually being a really good film.
Yeah,
I think it's the stigma. I think it was. I guess I don't know. As I'm sitting here thinking about it, listening to you guys, I think it might be the fact that leprechauns, as we were all growing up, I mean, leprechauns, like they were mischief and they had their problems.
Yeah, they were magically delicious.
But you had this idea, you had the Lucky Charms leprechaun. Yeah. You have like just all these ideas that you already have about leprechauns.
Preconceived notions.
It'd be like, it's like when you make fun of like the Jack Frost movies, or I'm sure there's a killer Easter Bunny movie out there. I can't even.
Thanksgiving.
Right now,
but
like,
Bunny Man Massacres.
You take any supernatural thing that we already have like a kind of a preconceived idea of, and then be like, no, it's actually scary, and you're like, get out of here.
Well, didn't they do that with Donnie Darko, the Tooth Fairy, or something like that?
That was the guy in the bunny costume.
There was a Tooth Fairy movie that's supposed to be.
There's a Tooth Fairy movie.
But the thing is,
I don't take that seriously.
Now, how about this though? Like, well, I think Rumpelstiltskin is a worse movie than Leprechaun.
Do you think it gets such
nobody
shit?
watched it, so nobody talks about it?
Do you think it gets such shit because it was forced on our throats? Like I said, when I was growing up, when I stayed home from school, you could always guarantee Leprechaun on Sci-Fi Channel. They run a marathon usually through the day.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
And like I've watched. Like I said, I don't remember 2 at all for some reason, but I've watched every other movie.
I think if it was standalone,
and I think it was
better.
just shoved down our throats so much that people are just like, it's a joke.
Right. No. I think if it was a standalone film, people would love it more fondly.
I think, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. If it just cut it off at the first film, and
when you're a kid and you go to another state to go to your family reunion, it's an event. But when you have to go there every year to see your fucking inbred cousins and your peekaboo uncles and all this stuff, it becomes a chore. Fuck. You know what I mean? Like hey, I got dollars out of it, but like I get it. It gets a little rough. Making money, man. It's money. I don't know what to tell you. But, I can see that. But overall, I do think that the Leprechaun movie is a good movie. The first one is a good movie. And, of course, I would still watch every single Leprechaun before I'd watch any of the new Saws, or any of the new Texas Chainsaw remake, or any of the new Halloween. And, by the way, Rob Zombie, as always, you can die in a fire with your vegan bitch-ass fucking cunt wife. But, like, all this stuff, I would watch any of this stuff compared to that.
So what about, let me ask you this then, since you talked about that, what about Leprechaun Origins?
I'd probably sit through it once, as long as I didn't have to sit through one of their films.
Oh, wow. Leprechaun Origins is bad. I don't know if you
I didn't say I'd finish it.
I have not given it a whirl.
Well, anything...
If you're expecting Warwick Davis and all in it, you're not getting it.
If you look at these things, and I understand that some people die and some people have, things, or if it goes too long, he's not available. Yeah. Use that in your terminology of go, okay, look, can we get Warwick Davis in this? No, then we probably shouldn't do this. That's my mentality.
It's that easy.
It's that easy. Like, for instance, they made a Nightmare on Elm Street without Robert Englund.
No, that's what I'm saying though. Like, so my ask a question. Okay, like, so let's go back to this concept of
Jackie Earle Haley wasn't that bad as
keep him in.
He's
Watchmen.
Not bad, but he's not Robert Englund.
He's not Robert Englund.
So we already know the fans themselves. We grew up with this. We're already not going to be accepting of the fact that star key player is not in the film.
Right.
And then the newer generation already heard our mouth are regurgitating what we say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll see it, but they're probably not going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is we're not going to like it regardless.
Well, I mean,
I've watched Friday the 13th. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
All the remakes. I own them even. But I can't say I only own them just so I can complete a collection. I don't actually like these films. And I only ever paid $2 probably for the DVDs.
Yeah, I hate that about a bitch. No, I'll tell you what though. And if you've got this far, you'll probably understand what I'm going to say anyway, because you'll probably either deal with it or disagree with what we're saying or whatever, or get all huffy puffy and woke and fuck you. But we're a generation gap now. We have a generation gap. I see this all the time. I listen to Jim Cornette talking about AEW and wrestling and modern wrestling. The modern wrestling fans think the old wrestling from the 70s is stupid and boring and this, it doesn't make sense. And the old guys that know how it's actually supposed to get done correctly think the flippy, stupid stuff for no reason and no script writing, that's bad.
Yeah.
And it's literally the same thing with the horror genre. It's the stuff that was pre-90 or pre-2000s is the good shit.
It's aging out.
Yeah,
it's aging out.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But everybody got. Here's the problem with the '90s. Everybody got, and this is the same thing. And wow, I just make this comparison. It's actually blowing my brains out. Is the same bad habits that everybody got famous doing, because horror got famous in the '90s.
Yeah.
It wasn't famous before by a lot of people. Famous wrestling in the '90s had a lot of bad habits.
Yeah.
Famous horror movies in the late '90s, Scream and whatnot, had a lot of bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
And they took the new genre, new people came out, took that as gospel.
Yeah.
These bad habits are gospel. So they started off on the wrong foot and they just kept on going.
I think the issue with that is, I mean, I agree with you pretty much overall. And I think the issue there is that the generation that was coming in the 90s when horror became popular again was the generation that really grew up with it throughout the late 70s and 80s. They were teenagers in that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Like in their late teens, early 20s, they get into the 90s. Scream comes out in what, 96?
Yeah.
Scream comes out in 96. Those people that grew up with your classic horror films that we love, that was the thing for them. So they start trying to make their version of it, right? So Scream comes out, makes it big.
Yeah.
Okay? And they think that the reason it makes it big is because of the campy,
the bad
flippy-dippy wrestling moves that they put in it.
Exactly.
That's not the reason why it went big.
Right.
But that's what you're getting now because that's what they thought made it do that.
Because
and that's not what it was.
Even when we watched Scream in '96 when it came out, '95, we were still watching shit from the '80s.
Correct.
So when they came out in the 2006s, they went back and watched Scream.
Yeah, and we're like, this is what did it.
This is what made it. So that's where we got to start from, and it just completely compounded everything.
You completely just fucking blew my mind.
Yeah,
that analogy's perfect.
Yeah, instead of realizing.
I mean, when cable internet became a big thing, when this became a big thing, that's what
it's giving credit to the wrong credit.
Exactly.
Yes, correct.
And that's why there's generation gap because they know because they knew it was popular, so that's correct.
Yeah. Oh, that's why.
And you'll never be able to talk them out of it, even if you show them stuff because the quality, the CGI is bad, or this is bad, or that the film quality is bad, so that's bad.
And I still believe that Scream was really just meant to let's try to make the genre prevalent again, not base the next 20 plus years off of this film. Let's just bring it back and make it something. Because if you remember, in the mid 90s, horror was not in a good spot.
No, of course
it was not in a good spot.
No, it needed a resurgence, but I don't know if it needed that one because then you got I Know What You Did Last Summer.
That's that's what I think the issue was.
Yeah,
I think
it was all based off the
I think this was the idea. Like, let's bring this back to the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make something that's like kind of new, like a kind of new idea. We'll make it big. We'll do it hard, and they give you a Scream. And then everybody's like, "Oh, that's why it went big." Like, no, it's not why. We're just trying to bring this back. And then, but instead, they just ran with it.
Nope, they said,
and
"Here's
I Know What You Did Last Summer." You get Urban Legends.
And it goes and goes. Here's the template.
Slashers.
Here's the template, and run with it.
Yep.
And then it goes, "Oh, well, we'll do something different, but we're still basing it off the same formula."
Yeah.
And that's why no matter what, if it's a monster, if it's supernatural, if it's this, it's still based off the same formula.
Yeah.
And that's why, that Wicker Man thing from the 70s was really good, but we're going to use the same formula as Scream because it worked.
Yeah.
But we're going to make fucking Midsummer. And that's how,
it's so more, I mean.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the format that they're using. And that's the problem, is they're not going to the traditional format. They're going to what they know made money. In the generation when they were too young to understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why you'll never talk them out of it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, I think the only supernaturally things the 90s and early 2000s even got kind of right is there's some ghost-esque movies that came out in that time period that aren't too bad, I don't think.
Frighteners was great.
Frighteners was
great. And I hate to say, I'm going to get probably shit for this, but the remake of House on Haunted Hill.
Remake of House on Hill wasn't bad.
No, I love the original. It was a great homage.
If I had to pick a remake, I mean, that was garbage. But like, if I had to pick a film right there that had ghostliness that wasn't too bad, I mean, I didn't really like any of them. but The Haunting wasn't horrible.
I like The
Haunting
Haunting.
wasn't bad.
I like
It was-
The Haunting.
it was-
I was going to bring The Haunting
The
up.
Haunting was more of a straightforward ghost movie than the 13 the not 13 Ghosts, but
House on
House
Hill.
on
Oh, it
Hill.
was?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I actually liked 13 Ghosts quite a bit with Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, and that was another remake from the
Tony
the,
Shalhoub
from
and
the
everybody.
60s,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
another remake.
William Castle.
Yeah, another William Castle movie remade, but they didn't have zingers in the seats.
Yeah.
But I was sitting on a dildo. But you know, it's it's different. It's just how you kind of take things, and that's the thing is, here's the thing is, if you had someone that was watching movies in the 80s, and I go back and go, oh, this 80 format is exactly the way you make a film, and he's gonna go, no, if you go back to the 70s. This is the format that works, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do the generation before that,
Yep.
and the generation, and they'll say, no, this is what you need to
Start
do.
going back into
Yeah.
Hammer
Yeah.
horror film.
And then some dickhead at some point in time on a cane going, when Nosferatu was big, this is the format, you know,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing and the same thing and the same thing. But I noticed though, there is, and again, this is a generational thing. We're the last generation, give or take, that can appreciate the old shit.
Oh,
Really appreciate the
yeah.
old
I've
shit.
tried introducing my stuff we watch to my kids, or even around their age group, or even people I work with that
Yeah.
are younger than me by at least 10 or 15
And
years.
we're not all consuming. I
No.
know there's a lot of people in their 20s that do appreciate
Oh,
Jellos.
absolutely.
There's this,
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Children,
my
like, I know.
kids.
Yeah, we're
my
not.
kids
We're talking about
watch
as a
all
whole, as a
this- as a
general.
whole, as a
Yeah.
generation.
They did. They think
Yeah.
it's potatoes. They think
And
it
once
sucks.
they get past, okay, like I most of them can't even count because of Common Core. So once they get past like the 20 years, they go, I'm okay, I got nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think a lot of the issue too is a lot of, like you were talking about kids that you work with that you try to introduce these
Yeah.
things to. The only reason they're even remotely interested is because they want to know at least a little bit about the new crappier version of the film that's coming out.
Yeah.
So they don't look like idiots when they're like, yeah, I saw the new
Yeah.
well, that's a remake
Halloween
of
or
something. Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Leatherface is awesome. Like, really?
Yeah, I mean,
really
you
wanna go back
do.
and
You,
look
I
at
mean,
it?
it's
'Cause,
just like your sister apparently like watched the new Evil Dead and loved it. Watched the old Evil Dead and hated it. Example of a retard.
Literally, I'll never forget that. She's like, "This shit sucks." I'm
But
like,
that,
"I will
without
get
this
you."
shit, you wouldn't have most of anything
Yeah.
else. But it's just one of the. Well, I mean, it's the a lot of people that like rock and roll but don't like Elvis.
Yeah.
I mean, like, well,
Yeah.
you kind of need him,
Yeah.
you know. But it's just, it's weird.
But you know, maybe there is hope because I'll say this with that analogy. Because when I was younger, I mean, I liked rock and roll. Didn't really like Elvis when I was a kid. But as I got older
Yeah.
and appreciated
Yes, you enjoyed
the
art form.
genre, and
Yeah.
I started listening to Elvis, I was like, this dude actually kind of knew what was up.
There's going to be a lot of people that watched. I'm going to use how as an example because I know it was in the theaters recently. Halloween Kills, or like I don't remember what the titles of the Rob Zombies were. Pig fucking vegan piece of shit. But
So, are you saying you're not going to go see the new Monsters movie?
no, and yeah, everybody involved with that, please die in a fire. But my thing is, you know, they're gonna watch Halloween Kills and love it, and they're gonna watch the original Halloween, aka
go,
the
"This
Babysitter
sucks,"
Murders, and be
yeah.
like, "Well, this is stupid. This is sucky. This is
Exactly.
boring, slow,
Exactly.
not enough gore." They're like,
Exactly.
this is why. I mean,
Yeah.
and we
We want
live.
to take it back to the beginning, and they're not going
Yeah,
to
and-
expect big things.
No, I
It's not
know,
gonna be there.
and we live in a fully fledged generation that if you don't show them everything, they can't understand it.
Yeah.
And I sound like that old guy at the end of the bar. Goddamn.
Yeah,
you
did you ever think you grew up to be that guy?
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
knew
yeah.
early on, yeah.
I've been this way for like 50 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not even that old. Because, you know, Common Core.
Yeah.
But no, I've been like this since forever. So I knew I was going to be that grumpy ass bastard in the corner.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you, bro.
You know, I'm trying to, you know, you have goals in life.
Yeah.
Goals.
The Leprechaun's awesome.
Leprechaun's good. I like it.
Leprechaun is a
I mean,
great film.
honestly, avoid all the sequels. Avoid the
Yeah, you
sequels.
watch two.
Nah, watch the sequels because they're
Yeah,
just
it's,
they're a train wreck. But
Oh, yeah.
you got
No, if you like trash, watch the sequels.
Yeah.
But if you,
And we all know Paul likes trash.
I do
so-
like trash.
but
well,
not that trash.
Well, the other thing is that I did mention it first, that the I mean, it is essentially still a kids movie because there's no breast in it. So as long as there's no tits, you can have
Yeah,
the
'cause-
kids watch it.
Yeah,
that was my
Turn-
parents' motto. If there's
Yeah.
no boobs in them,
And
I'm allowed to watch
that's it. As long as there's no vaginal penetrations and money shots, no pearl necklaces
Yeah.
on every girl. I mean, essentially, it's a kids movie.
I'm
That's
sure
why.
that's Paul's dividing line.
That's why
whether or not
dividing
there's
line.
nudity in a
Was there an
movie.
orgasm?
Is it safe?
No,
is it safe for
sorry, you
children?
can't watch this. You know, that kind of thing. You definitely not watching the erotic Nights of the Living Dead because there's a full-fledged orgasm in that one.
Damn. Why not about Nudist Colony?
Nudist Colony, yeah, you can't watch that. There's tits in it. See, exactly. You can't do that.
Missed out.
But Nudist Colony of the Dead was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It has its own
that.
songs and stuff.
I always tell people about that movie, they're like, you're kidding me. I swear to God.
No, it's a musical goodness. So, no, but like it is weird. That goes back to the Stephen Fry thing. Like we say some of the worst words easily, like torture. Torture is like one of the worst things you could ever do. Kill, hate. We say those words with no problem, but you can't say fuck, which is two people actually coming together and enjoying themselves or making a human being, which is one of the most beautiful things in the world. But that's the way the society views things. It's a weird thing. So I'll liberally say fuck Rob Zombie, but so that's nice. I hope he has a great time doing it.
Tell us one more time about Rob Zombie.
Well, I really like
I
the
think
guy.
Paul just told us that he wants to have a child with Rob Zombie.
I
I
heard vegans taste better.
Damn.
So, I'll punch in his
It
corner.
almost sounds like you hate Rob Zombie.
I actually really appreciate him.
I like how Billy do it.
I like to hate fuck people, so that's good. There it is.
That you do, my friend.
There you go.
That you do well.
That we
and
good.
never change.
Never change ever. So, why are we talking about Rob Zombie?
I don't know.
Was good
Did
in
he make
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun?
No.
I like the dark. I see. That's the thing is about like Leprechaun. It's got that rawness still. It's got that dark.
It's totally on
It's got
yeah,
darkness
yeah.
to it. I think that
has-
house was overly cobwebby. By the way,
Well, yeah, but it has
Barnes immaculate though.
atmosphere for
Atmosphere,
a movie.
it's got the
doesn't
atmosphere.
feel clean. It doesn't
I
feel
hate-
overly pressed.
I mean, I hate a lot of things, by the way. But one thing about new films, and especially when we watch low budget films, they use these nice cameras and they have this clarity that just ruins it.
Yeah, it does, and we've talked about that multiple times.
I love how we're the only people bitching about clear.
I know. I
But
like
I
a
want-
little gray, a little
want
fuzz, a little
I
this.
want it a little hard to see sometimes.
Yeah,
I want it to like.
I mean, honestly, that's
it adds to the tension without. I think it adds to the mystery of everything without even shoving it in your face. Like we're purposely being eluding. Like no, like you really don't know. You're like what the
Yeah.
hell?
Well,
what the hell
playing
was
on
that?
light and shadow is an art.
Yeah.
And a lot of people
Yeah,
don't take time to learn that art.
But
So
can you imagine, like, if you were to go back, and not even necessarily horror films, but if you go back and remake, take any 80s action movie, take the Die Hards, or take Lethal Weapon, take any of them,
Bambi.
and then remake them today on a crystal clear camera, they're going to lose mystique. They're going to lose something special about those movies that make them what they are. The hues in the film, like the color choices that they make, all that stuff is different.
every single light in the film has to be a full LED.
Yeah.
And a perfect camera.
Yeah.
And you'll lose a lot of shit.
I personally think we lost the filmmaking art form of it. Like it used to be an art form. You did it with passion.
Mhm.
Now we're doing it to make money.
Paychecks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really feel like we lost that. And there's very few directors, today's directors, that really pride themselves on their artwork.
Well,
John
if
Favreau
you
being
get
one.
it, a lot of
Like, that dude kills
the
it.
first film is always usually the best because it has the passion.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's
Everything
one of
after
those
that's a
things.
paycheck.
And that's why I'm a real anti-proponent, I guess you want to call it, or whatever you want to say, of sequels. Sequels are usually not the best idea in the world.
Sound like Bill Murray. That's exactly his words about Ghostbusters 2.
No sequels.
He's like, this doesn't need a sequel. Just let it ride on
Just
its
let
own.
it ride,
It's
man.
good.
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
so glad they did it.
I'm glad they did too, because I'm a huge Ghostbuster fan. If you haven't known, yeah.
Is that the
If
one?
you haven't
that-
heard us talk before,
Yeah, if you ever heard me talk about Ghostbusters,
Is that the one with the dancing toaster?
That's the
second
sequel.
Stupid.
Oh, come on.
Well, the other thing is it's not a horror film, so I mean
No.
that's the second.
You know
thing,
what?
You know,
Yeah, I've literally talked about this the other day at work. I'm like, it's a total fucking
it's
horror
not a
film.
horror film. It's a kids film with horror atmosphere.
I want to go on off topic just for a second while you guys are here.
We did that.
Yeah. I'm going even more off. This is even horror related.
Oh,
But we're kind of doing a poll online on fucking Adventures in Videoland. Someone brought in Muppet Treasure Island.
ooh.
It's a trashy fucking film. It's a terrible fucking movie.
I came to it.
Mike, Muppet Treasure Island.
I never
Feelings?
came to it.
I did come to it. What? I mean, out of all the Muppet movies that were made, can we just all universally take hands across the world and agree it's the worst of them all?
Well, yeah. I like Sweaty Pigs though.
Miss Piggy is the hottest fucking thing in the
Out of
world.
all the Muppet movies made,
Now think about the first Muppet movie,
Mhm.
the Muppets Take Manhattan, Muppets
That's
in Space,
great.
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Really break it down.
Mhm.
I
I'm
think-
going over them.
Out of all of them, Muppet Treasure Island is the worst.
Well, wasn't Muppet Treasure Island one of the last ones made though?
No, they had actually Muppets in Space was second to last, and there's one after that. I forget what it was. I
There's-
think it's
there's-
Muppets Christmas.
I mean, because it's
it all depends because there's new Muppet movies now.
well, I mean, it's just you have to look
There's
what
just
the
Muppets.
economy was, what the
Muppets.
funding
There's
was,
just Muppets
maybe.
with Jason Segel.
Now, mind you, I'm going to throw this in there. You
Um,
have Tim Curry as I think Blackbeard. He plays
Yeah.
Blackbeard in that. And he praises that film as one of his best works.
Really,
There's also Muppets Most Wanted, which was at the last Muppet.
Yeah.
I really liked the Christmas one actually.
But I'm trying to tell people, like, out of all the Muppet movies we brought to the table, or out of the Muppet movies out there, you're bringing Treasure Island. And I tell the guy who submitted it for approval, I'm like, you're literally only basing this off feelings and nostalgic. You're not actually looking at the
Well, that's the funny thing about it, because it's not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination. It probably is my least favorite out of the Muppet movies. Yeah, borderline. But there are a ton of people that absolutely love Muppet Treasure Island.
I don't know why.
Because it hit, like you said, it
It
played
hit
on their
nostalgia.
emotions.
Well, that's what I'm
it hit a
saying
certain
too. And I
point.
said, I go, because like I said, I look at movies as an art form. I look at people's work.
Mhm.
Jim Henson's movie. You're really gonna put that rubbish on the pair compare The Great Muppet Caper, Muppets Take Manhattan, Muppets in Space.
Charlie Grover
Even
was
the
in
two newer films even aren't
Yeah.
that bad. And I'm not saying Muppet Treasure Island's absolute trash, but when you can put it up against the other ones,
it. Oh yeah,
it's fucking bad.
Yeah, it doesn't stand up. I don't.
no.
think.
And you're not gonna throw Tim Curry's name in the fucking ring like, oh, okay, Tim Curry.
Yeah,
It
that
fucking
I guess,
sucked.
I mean, I guess Tim Curry does give us some clout, but like that's only for like
It's
that's
Muppet
only,
Treasure Island, not Tim Curry Treasure Island.
Correct. That's only for like
Exactly.
Like I'm gonna be stoked that I'm like Tim Curry, hell yeah, but like yeah, no.
So
Yeah, but
Muppet Treasure Island sucks. You heard it here first.
I mean, he played a foppish pirate though.
I know.
He wasn't scary. Pirate.
That's what I know. We could go. This could be a
he
whole
was
podcast itself.
He was Freddie Mercury pirate. So I mean, like, it's not that good.
You heard it,
I'm just saying.
Brad. If you watch this, you fucking heard it here. That shit sucks.
I mean, like Freddie Mercury and all, but like I didn't
Tim
want
Curry and
to see him as a
Bohemian
pirate.
I'm tagging Brad in this when we
Yeah,
post
I'm
it
just
because I'm
saying,
like, Brad,
I
it fucking sucks.
Don't want to see
Out of all the Muppet movies, it sucks.
I mean, I didn't even like Hook because the pirate was so.
And that's one of those things where we're going back to nostalgic. I don't like Hook, but I have to watch it a lot as a child, so it does take me back to a warm, fuzzy spot. But I'm not going to put it up against actually real good pirate movies that there were, or other fucking shit that Robin Williams was in.
Right.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's a fucking nostalgic film, but I'm not driving on that. I'm driving on actually what the quality of the fucking movie was.
Yeah, that's the question. Right
Yeah,
there.
script, acting, cast.
Because there's movies that I like that I know are garbage.
And we also watch it all the time too because a new movie didn't come out every fucking week
Yeah.
like it does now either.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, I didn't realize. Like, do you know how long it took for a good movie to go to the theater, circulate, and get to a home like viewing device?
Oh my god.
Back in the day,
Yeah, did you see-
fucking Ghostbusters was on DVD like a month after it fucking hit the theaters. Like, you
Yeah.
guys are spoiled now.
Yeah, no, they would come out in
You
theaters.
are-
You have to wait almost a year to even get on.
You are spoiled now because you would have the theatrical release, then it was wait X amount of time, and then you would have like the video store release,
Right.
The rentals, yeah.
the rental
Yeah.
release for a while, where you could only it seemed like you could only get it at video stores.
Man, I forgot all about that shit. You're right. You had to rent it before it could even come to home video.
And then usually later.
And then on your
there's
rental,
also so few places to actually buy them.
yeah.
I liked it because they had the stars like, for the first time on home video cassette.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, the good old days.
Man, I miss those days. You guys don't even fucking know.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean, maybe you
even
do know,
But you might know.
but it depends on what your age.
You
group
might
is.
live with someone who knows. Yeah, yeah. And if you're in that age group where you don't know, sorry about talking about fist fucking colons. So that you're probably too young for
I think
that.
Redbox killed that totally.
Oh fuck yeah.
Redbox completely. Like, there's no magic behind Redbox at all for me.
No, there was no magic behind Redbox. It was convenient, but
I
That's
never used
it.
it.
Dollar rentals, man. Like, and now they're to the point. I saw it coming.
I still remember when Netflix, you had to order your phone and it would come in the mail,
I
and
know.
then you send them
I
back.
tell my kids that. They go, "You order Netflix through the mail?" I go, "That's how Netflix
they think
works."
you're lying to them when you
Yeah.
tell people that.
Yeah.
Like younger kids.
No,
that
they
go,
used to do that.
Yeah, I remember they used to give you a checklist. You check what movies you want. You
Yeah.
send it back, and they sent the movies one at a time, or two at a time.
It depended on how long. If you were like a good customer, you could
Yeah.
start getting more and more and more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, how do we segue this back into Leprechaun?
So Leprechaun.
Well,
is,
at some point in time, they took the really beat up truck instead of the very, very, very reliable new Jeep. But I'm assuming it's gas prices because I remember gas rationing back in the day. We'll get there soon. Fuck Joe Biden. And I don't know, because how did we get out of this so far? We were far behind, but yeah,
We were
the one time they ran and they all jumped in the Jeep and of the truck, and I'm like,
nothing with the actual movie.
well, one, they left the kid at first. We're like, where's the fucking kid?
I didn't hear what the rationale for that was.
I know he had to go to the hospital because he got his leg caught in the bear trap, and I'm like, where's the fucking kid? Why is the guy with the bad leg carrying a box? Why is the girl with the shotgun? The big guy that could carry both is doing nothing. And where's the fucking kid?
I mean, realistically, Ozzy's as dumb as a box of rocks. Would you really trust him with a gun?
Well,
Like you give Ozzy,
your kid's more fucking realistic than fucking Ozzy.
The box of shoes because the leprechaun.
Well, but that's what I mean. Like he could carry the shoes.
Yeah.
And that's moving slow could carry the gun.
Yeah,
like it's just.
And
it's her car, so she has the keys.
So do you think Leprechaun has a foot fetish if he's got a shoe fetish?
I have a foot fetish.
I think we all do.
I think we all do deep inside.
Somewhere along the line.
Somewhere
You're looking at 6 feet going, yay or nay.
That's the foot noise.
That's the foot angel going.
Sploosh. So there it is.
So we boil it down and...
Oh yeah, we got to give our ratings. I forgot.
Can we talk about the ending of this movie first? How he kills Leprechaun?
Or
you
go. They went to the hospital.
Well, spoiler alerts.
Spoilers. They go to the hospital to find out how to kill it. He ends up killing O'Grady that was there. I know he come back for me. And then you got to find a 4-leaf clover in the patch and shove it up his ass. So if it touches him, you can kill him. I guess it makes him weak or something. So they believe. Like the fairies, clap your hands, clap your hands. I believe in fairies.
Oh my God, that's where Hook comes in.
Now
we're get Darby O'Gill to show up and whoop the shit out of him.
Yeah, we're believing fairies, and we're right back to Freddie Mercury. And so that happens, and they find the 4-leaf clover, and then the kid says, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," and rockets it with his little slingshot down the guy's throat. And
that's
he falls
where your
in the
rating came from. That fuck you.
That last fuck you took it over
Just
the
took
edge.
it right there.
Yeah. Now
you know the melting leprechaun effect in the wells
was good.
Good.
It almost reminded me of Gremlins.
Yes,
it does have a very Gremlins feel to it. You're absolutely right.
His little head, like his little puppet head shaking when it's melting.
Well, the funny thing is, when she gets back from the hospital and she goes to find the 4-leaf clover, it's so funny because all this green light is on the patch. It's resonating up her legs, like you can see it. It's like so.
And if you haven't seen the movie, it takes place in the desert.
In the desert.
Yeah. So there's just this little green patch in the
giant patches of roaming clover, like buffalo on the plains.
Yeah.
But no, and the light just oozing up. I'm like, oh, this is so cheesy. And then when they find the 4-leaf clover, because she believes it like glows green, like it's got the force. And I don't know how the fucking kid got it.
I think they're battling to drop it.
They gave it. He
snatched it quick. I'll save you. Poof. Because because
he wraps it in his gum.
Oz, the guy who plays Chubbs and Francis, he swallowed it by accident. He was going to cut it out of his stomach, so he saved the day.
Yeah.
Saved the day.
Him with the shoe buckle.
Yeah, the shoe buckle. Yeah. So I don't know. Overall, it's got brutality to it to a certain extent. It's got comedy. It's got emotion. It's got suspense. It's got a little bit of action. It's kind of got everything.
Except boobs.
Except tits, which means it's okay to watch with kids.
Definitely a family classic.
But here's the time. If there was a time for someone to get naked, it's now, because it's Jennifer Aniston in the early 90s. Like, what the fuck?
Damn. Could you imagine if she paired some titty in that then?
Yeah.
She would have been a fucking hot commodity.
And before the nose job and everything.
Before Friends.
Before Friends. Thank you for being a friend.
So,
that's different.
What do you think, B. Arthur? What do you?
Yeah,
what
B. Arthur. Yeah, what do we got going on? So we do obviously here we do naked pictures of B. Arthur. Outstanding. But of course we do the non-horror and the horror. So non-horror and horror for you. Because here's the thing: is it always horror people that are ragging on this really hard, or is it?
That's the question. That's actually I actually have a really hard time pinpointing this, to be totally honest, because I mean I enjoy it. I don't overly enjoy it. I mean I think it's a fun movie. I think it's a good horror movie. Like so I'm like 6.5 somewhere there, 7 maybe.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know if that's the horror fan rating or not even. Like
really
because
are you kind of.
Because it all depends. It so clearly depends on if somebody's just willing to not give it shit.
Yeah,
like, that's really what it comes down to. It's not even really. I don't think this is really a horror versus non-horror fan thing. It's, are you willing to just take this movie for what it is, or are you not?
I'll say this much about it as my rating as a horror fan. I give it an 8 because it delivers what everything would expect.
I agree.
At the same time, as a bandwagon horror fan that you pride yourself on your Freddys and your Jasons, you should also like this, and you should rate this as an 8. I would rate this as an 8.
I was going to rate it as an 8.
Because I think if you can't sit there and say, I like Freddy, I like Jason, I like Michael, because this has all the tropes that those have too. This is a classical franchise.
Here's the thing is, here's the same, fuck you. The same people, you fucking scumbags. The same people who sat through Bride of Chucky shit on fucking Leprechaun.
If you like Bride of Chucky, you should like Leprechaun more.
And the Seed of Chucky and all this stuff. Like all these stupid, worthless, modern, fucking cocksucking
If you like the newest Child's Play, you should just go kill
if you
yourself.
like the new Child's Play, because he spent money on it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Okay,
no, that wasn't
it's just like, these people are spitting on this movie, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
Nope, and that's what I'm saying. If you can't call yourself even a bandwagon horror fan that likes your typical...
I didn't even think about that at first.
If you're that typical bandwagon horror fan, you should like fucking Leprechaun.
I was going to give it an 8 out of 10, too, for bandwagon.
I think it's really just whether or not you're willing to take it or not. Because...
I think it's perfectly
I think the rating
watchable.
I think the rating is pretty much the same for everybody, because it's not so overly violent where if you don't like violent films, are going to be like, oh, like I can't stand it. And it's got enough like cheesy tropes to it that like it's enjoyable. It's pretty friendly for most ages. Like as long as you're willing to just give into the movie, you'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do you know what this movie has though that the other ones lacked? Well, not really lacked, depends on how you're looking
Jennifer
at this.
Aniston.
Yeah, that's true.
But your old classic films, you always had a stalking phase in the film where you never saw the villain or the killer.
Yeah.
You kind of just saw through their eyes. This doesn't have that. It's kind of
it's
right there in the beginning. Right there is Leprechaun. There's no build up to the character.
I think they were proud of what they did.
Well, absolutely.
And they wanted to show people
Absolutely.
like, we got Warwick and he fucking looks super creepy.
Warwick Davis had a good time and everything.
Yeah. I'm thinking I'm gonna match your score, but in a different way. You gave it 6 on each side.
I say like 6.5, 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna give 8 and 4. That way we meet in the 6th level as an average, and you're giving it an 8. What's your just normal?
8.
8 straight up. Straight up 8.
I really feel like if you're consider yourself a fucking horror fan, if you like your typical tropes,
and a non-horror fan,
as well as a non-horror fan.
Okay, that's
because
okay.
I don't think it brings everything to the table as a bandwagon fan should enjoy.
So I'm more like overall 6, you're 6.5, and you're 8.8. So we're probably in the 7.25 category, and that's a fucking great score.
Yeah, really.
We
talked about a lot of shit.
And I think it really, like again, I really think it comes down to not even necessarily horror versus non-horror.
Just stop being a prick.
Stop being a dick.
Just stop hate on the Leprechaun.
But anyone that can sit through Rubber and thought it was okay,
and
shouldn't. But they shouldn't shit on fucking. Anyone that thought Bordello of Blood was fucking fantastic.
I like Bordello of Blood too.
Yeah,
but you also like Christine.
Yeah. If anyone like Christine shouldn't be spitting on. But that's the other thing. It's okay that you liked Rubber or you like Christine or you like this, but don't shit on.
Exactly. That's the thing about it. Like, I understand I like movies that are shitty. Like, I get that. And, like, I can really like them. But, like, don't play them up. At the same rate, don't take good movies and play them down because other people convince you.
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's look at this because there are a lot of fans. And I think a lot of these people are in the same boat we are. But in the last, I almost say 27 years, 25 years at least, Full Moon Productions have been pushing out utter garbage. But Leprechaun is better than almost everything they pushed in the last 25 years. But there's big followings for those films. So none of those people that enjoy those films should talk shit on Leprechaun.
Let me ask you this. What about Trauma? Trauma's still putting movies out. Yeah. And they literally based their whole premise on being shitty. And there's a huge following on them. Now, I'm not saying any Trauma film shits on Leprechaun.
No.
Because you can't.
No.
You can't. You're not allowed.
Not allowed.
But, like, there is still the fan base of the bandwagon of people like the Trauma or Toxie. And
if anyone likes Sharknado, any of those things, you're not allowed to shit on Leprechaun. Because look what you're watching.
Well, exactly. It's a gift from God as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. But there's so many other films that come out all the time that shouldn't, but people still go watch them and post shit about them. It's like, well, I think we're almost. I've never met a person, and I've heard a lot of talk. I've heard a lot of it, but I've never met a person face to face shitting on Leprechaun.
It is fun.
I have.
You have?
Yeah, I mean, but it's people I work with and shit. Like, they're not into it like we are.
No.
It's just, it needs a target for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people that probably really give it grief are also people that probably have not watched it.
Well, I think it's like, people that think Twilight was a serious horror film would shit on Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Yeah, I mean, like, that would make sense to me. But now he's Batman, so there you go.
That's not true.
I heard that's actually pretty good.
I heard it's good too.
I don't want to.
I have a lot of faith. In fact, I have the posters in my car.
I don't want to.
But again, I like superhero movies.
I was outside Gailton, and in Gailton, because that's where Germania is, a little south of that, they have a remodeled church playing it.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool. They were doing that, playing
Should
it.
play The Exorcist in there.
There you go. I like that. The power of Christ impairs you. The power of Christ impairs you.
That's funny.
That
needs to be a shirt.
Yeah, I did that to a guy and he was going freaky, like he had a big cross thing and all this stuff. He's been acting all right, and I was back when I was married. I was like, the power of Christ impairs you, because he was having a good old day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, folks, this has been Paul
and Joshua
and Mike.
That's him.
That's me.
Yeah, and this has been Maniacs Meat Podcast episode. I have no fucking idea. And this has been Leprechaun and a whole lot of shit.
Are you doing the new opening on that?
I'm gonna try.
That'd be cool.
Wow. And that's it.
And Scream for the next one.
Oh yeah, I guess we're doing Scream. Didn't we just do it for the last half hour?
I guess we talked some shit on Scream.
Leprechaun and parts of Scream you put in the title.
And Screaming for Leprechauns.
Oh my god, that's perfect. Screaming for Leprechauns.
Screaming for Leprechauns.
Also, fucking Treasure Island Muppet movies.
Screaming for Leprechauns.
Some weird
have the guy from Leprechaun coming down like the eagle on Judas Priest.
I'm totally gonna go home and like Photoshop some shit together.
There you go. There it is. Well, yep, that's it. This is Paul. This, and bye bye.
And me.
Goodbye.
Bye bye. Oh, here you go.
Right. Watch that finger.
Watch that finger. Get the dick out. Whoop, 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 whoop.